guys, Yoongi here, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be celebrating my K-pop staniversary. It has officially been 8 years this week since I first got into K-pop, and I wanted to do a video to sort of celebrate that with you guys, but I couldn't think of any interesting ideas. So I asked for your suggestions in my community tab, and a few of you came up with some super fun ideas, so thank you so much for that. In today's video, we're going to be going through each year since I got into K-pop and looking over my favourite artists and songs to kind of see if my tastes have changed at all. We're going to work from 2014 when I got into K-pop to now 2022, and I'm going to be quickly recapping each of those years as a K-pop stan and sharing 4 songs I loved from each year and 4 artists that I was loving. So 8 things in total because, 8 years into K-pop makes sense. Am I blabbing? Probably. They won't necessarily be songs that came out that year or artists that debuted that year, just whoever I was into at the time. As always, these are just my thoughts and opinions, and I'd love to hear some of your own over your time as a K-pop stan. Okay, let's get going. May 2014, I get into K-pop. Although it was a girl group who got me into K-pop, at this time it was probably more boy groups that I was looking into properly and stanning. So this is the year where I was really stanning EXO, BTS, GOT7 and Block B, who remained some of my favourite groups throughout the whole time I've been into K-pop. These are the songs that I remember loving in 2014. 21, Gotta Be You. I feel like I'd be doing them an injustice if I didn't mention this song. This song, after all, is the one that got me into K-pop, and the rest is history. From here, I went and looked into more 21 songs, CL solos, and I was hooked. Speed, Don't Tease Me. This song technically came out before I got into K-pop within the same year, but I stumbled across this when I was looking into more groups, and I just loved everything about it. The fun vibes of the group, the circus concept, and the song is so catchy. If you haven't heard this song now, I'd still recommend it. Girls' Generation, Hoot. This is a random one, I know, but again, it's one I stumbled across in my getting into K-pop phase, and I remember just being so obsessed with it and finding and watching every single live performance that they did of it. I don't think I'd ever really heard a song like this before, and that was why I was so hooked from the start. Block B, Her. I remember this song coming out a few months after I got into K-pop and it being the first song I'd heard by Block B as a whole, and I was hooked from the get-go. Similarly to with Speed, the group seemed so fun and the song was such a catchy bop that I was obsessed. 2015, I was well and truly hooked on K-pop by this point. I probably went through a bit of a cringy stage as a fan at this point, if that makes sense. Maybe I'll expose myself at some point. But this is the year I properly developed my love for 17, AOA, VIX, and of course BTS. The songs I remember loving the most this year are EXO, Call Me Baby. I remember reacting to this MV with my friends when it came out, and oh my god, we were floored. The 3 of us were huge EXO-Ls, and we were just so obsessed with this comeback, and the whole album too was superb. GOT7, Just Right. Exactly the same reason as above, my friends and I were huge fans of GOT7. I remember us waiting specifically to watch this music video together and having the most dramatic reactions ever because we loved it so much, I still have a huge soft spot for this song. Unique, EU EU. You can tell I was massively into boy groups during this part of my time as a K-pop stan, but this song was one of mine where I heard it and was immediately deciding to love the group just from hearing the one song. Honestly, what an absolute bop this was. I was probably too young to see that choreo though, not gonna lie. Madtown, New World. I know it's been years, but I will never let this group or song go because it's my favourite title track by them. I absolutely adored everything Madtown released from debut, and I really feel like they were so strong in this comeback. They'd actualised themselves as a group, and it's a real shame that not enough people saw that. 2016. I had a lot of friends who were into K-pop at this point, so I'd say my tastes broadened here, which is super fun. I was into a lot more girl groups at this point too, so I'd say the groups I was standing the most were AOA, CLC, VIX, and BTS again. Songs I want to highlight from this year are VIX, Fantasy. I'd like to formally apologise to anybody who knew me when this song came out because I'm pretty sure I lived and breathed this release like it was oxygen. I low-key still do. God, I love this song so much. It's so good, I can't even describe it. Everything about it was just on point for me, and nobody is doing it like this anymore. CLC, No Oh Oh. This is the year that Cube added 2 members to CLC, and let's not lie, Cheshires, I think a lot of us were low-key apprehensive, because what if it didn't work out? And we loved the lineup the way they were, etc, etc. And when this song was released, it corrected all of us. Elkie and Eunbin were such great additions to the group, and I loved this song. It was a really great place to start, and I was so excited with where they go from there. AOA, good luck. If you asked my friends, they would probably tell you that this song reminded them of me back in 2016 because I was so obsessed. It was such a fun summery song and I adored the whole concept. I remember being so excited to watch every stage as it came out, listening to the album tracks on repeat such as Cherry Pop, which I'd recommend if you haven't heard that song. It's a very cute summery bop. 17, very nice. Introducing another song I will never fully get over. I'm still obsessed with this song now. The only thing missing from this era, honestly, was having Wonwoo in the stages so it could be OT13. Other than that, I just think it's pure perfection. Oh my god, what a good year this was for music. 2017. This is the year I turned 18, so I think for me, a lot of my focus was probably on music you can go out and party to. As for groups I was standing, for some reason, I remember being massively into EXID at this point. Still AOA, 17, and of course, BTS. Songs I was loving this year included Sunmi Gashina, I'm still so confused by how this did not win every award going for Song of the Year. This song was played on repeat by everyone everywhere, and I refuse to accept the opinion of anybody who doesn't agree that this song is iconic. I loved it so much. 9 Muses, Love City. This is a bit of a random one because I didn't know anybody who liked this song or really spoke about it, and the song itself is kind of strange, but for some reason I was so hooked on it to the point where I watched every stage and it got me learning more about 9 Muses. I'd still recommend this song now if you haven't heard it. Brave Girls, Rollin'. I don't mean to be like indie or anything, but I absolutely loved Rollin' by Brave Girls the first time when it came out. I even went as far as to learn the whole original choreography, chair and all. My friend and I used to talk about it all the time and watch all the performances and talk about how underrated the song was. So imagine how blown away we were when it took off last year. I love that so much for them. They really, really deserved it. Miso, KKPP and Pink Lady. Hands in the air. I know this is 2 songs and I'm cheating on my own video concept, but I had to include both because I couldn't pick one. Miso is a soloist who was a member of the girl group Girls Girls, and her solo KKPP I was so obsessed with. And then her comeback happened to just be my entire life aesthetic, Pink Lady. I remember waiting up until like 4 or 5 AM in my country to watch the MV when it was released. 2018. From here on is where I've had Spotify, so it should be easier for me to see literally what songs and artists I was loving the most with evidence. And from what I can see, I was still on a lot of AOA, shocker, BTS, shocker, Blackpink, and CLC. The songs I will highlight as some of my faves from this year are Gugudan, The Boots. According to Spotify, this was my most listened to K-pop song of the year, and I completely forgot how much I adored this song until I made this video. How fun! I've said it before, but I'll say it again, justice for Gugudan. BTS, Fake Love. Isn't it so interesting that BTS are one of my fave groups every year, but I haven't been including them in my top songs? This song is the exception because I love it so much. Both of the original and the rock version of this song are just chef's kiss to me. Honestly, perfection. Kristen V, Get It. Not gonna lie, when this song came out, I didn't exactly have the highest of hopes because I wasn't big on Pristen's releases up to this point, but this song threw me off so much. The concept suited them so well and it was right up my alley too. CLC, Black Dress. I think this song has only just recently been knocked off the top of my most listened to K-pop songs of all time on Spotify. Never mind just of the 1 year. I felt like this concept was perfect on them. It wasn't trying to be like cute or sexy, but it was this sweet spot perfectly in the middle of like mature and classy but still low-key girl crush. Oh, I loved it. 2019. This is the year I went to Korea, so I partially think that might have influenced some of the artists and music I was loving that year, kind of with like nostalgia and the things I was missing from Korea. Groups I loved this year were Mamamoo, CLC, G-idol, and Wekimeki. The songs I was loving are 17, Fear. This song is perfection. I honestly cannot explain how much I adore it even to this day, and I would recommend it to anybody who wants a feel for what 17 are capable of. I love pretty much everything 17 released, but this one was a whole nother level even for them. Mamamoo, Go Go Bebe. This was the year I started really loving Mamamoo, and this was my favourite song by them at the time. It's probably still one of my favourite title tracks by them now. It has a special place in my heart because it's the first one I got to enjoy as a stan, and the fact I adore the song and concept in general does help. Blackpink, Kill This Love. Let's kill this love. This is my favourite Blackpink song. I know some people have mixed opinions on it, but for me personally, I think this is just peak them on top of the game. Everybody sounds and looks amazing, and they owned this entire era so much. This concept is so strong on them. I don't get what's not to love. Nobody was giving it the way they were. G-idol, Senorita. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, aren't I? But this is my favourite song by them, and I had the honour of seeing it live when they were promoting in Korea because it fell at the time I was there, and it's just such a strong release for them. I feel like they knew what they were doing with it, you know? They had a job to do and they smashed it. Wekimeki, Picky Picky. Yes, I'm aware this is the 5th song. I promise I haven't forgotten how to count. I just really couldn't narrow this list down any further because I loved the music at this time. I wanted to talk about every song I've mentioned. This one I had to include because, not gonna lie, I do adore every Wekimeki title track, but this one is just undefeated for me so far. I don't know what it is that made me love it so much, but I'm still not over it. 2020. Ah yes, we're in pandemic territory, so I was listening to a lot of music sat at home working. My favourite groups at this time are Stray Kids, Wekimeki, Mamamoo, and CLC. The songs I remember loving are Hatfelt featuring Moonbyul, Happy Now. I'm sorry to everybody who hears me talk about this song all the time, but Hatfelt is one of my favourite underrated female soloists. Moonbyul is one of my biases, and this song is just everything to me. As soon as I heard this collaboration was happening, I knew it'd be perfection, and we were not disappointed at all. If you haven't heard it, I would definitely recommend checking it out. The lyrics, MV, song, everything is just spot on. A-Pink, Dum Darum. I don't want to sound dramatic, but it's probably going to. This is probably one of those highlights of my first lockdown era for me, because I started to really love this song and was watching every stage. It kind of gave me something to do, you know? Is that sad? I don't know. I wasn't massively into A-Pink before this song, I just knew their popular ones, but this was such a great comeback from them. Stray Kids, God's Menu. Before this song came out, I never used to pay a great deal of attention to Stray Kids, but this song made me book my ideas up and start listening. It's funny how much power one song can have because it made me excited to hear what they were going to do next and watch every stage and compilations of them, and eventually standing them all stemmed from me loving this song. Wekimeki, Dazzle Dazzle. Your local Wekimeki hype woman is back to talk about Wekimeki again. I know I said Picky Picky is my favourite song by them, but I think this would be a close second, and this concept itself is probably one that suits them the best for me. They look so expensive and untouchable, if that makes sense. And this comeback was so good, it really was untouchable for me. 2021. This one's probably a bit all over the place because we're starting to get some freedom back, but not really. The artists I was loving the most in 2021 were Taemin, Mamamoo, CLC, and Wekimeki. And now for the songs we have to talk about. You guys may have seen this if you've seen my Spotify Wrapped video, so I'm sorry if you've heard me say all this before. G-Friend, Mago. I've never really been a G-Friend stan or hugely keen on their music, not gonna lie, but this one came at me out of nowhere and I was so obsessed with it that it became my most played song in 2021. I loved the disco concept on them and it was such a fun song, I was happy to fall in love with it. Taemin, Advice. been over a year and I'm still not over this song. Will I ever be? I'm not sure. I adore Taemin and all of SHINee, but this comeback really knocked me sideways. Oh my god, it was just perfection. The concept and styling on him, the man bun long hair, he did that for me. The song itself, of course, I just think it must have been really close to my most played songs between this and Mago, because I was playing them both to death like it was my job. The cast of Good Girl, Yeon, Jiwoo, Cheetah, Hyoyeon and Jamie, which this song is from a TV show I didn't even watch, but my friend sent it to me thinking I would love it, and he was so right. I think for like 2 years I was listening to this song on repeat. I'd never skip it when it came on shuffle, so it ended up like my 3rd most played song in 2021. Refund Sisters, Don't Touch Me. This is another song I would never skip when it comes on, and it's still the same now, I think. Refund Sisters was like a dream come true for me. Having a member from each generation of K-pop honestly just felt kind of genius, and the outcome was so fierce. This song did super well, but I still think it's underrated. 2022 so far. This of course is just up to May 2022, so I'm not quite sure where we are for the year yet. I guess we'll see when it's time for my Spotify Wrapped, but I'd say my current favourite groups are 17, Mamamoo, Stray Kids and SHINee. My favourite songs so far I'd say this year, in no particular order, are Woozy, Ruby. I mentioned this song in my January favourites video, and my thoughts on it are still the same. I think it's so bloody good. I'm interested to see how high it scores on my Spotify Wrapped because it came out super early this year, and I find it impossible to skip because I adore it so much. 80s Deja Vu. I know I'm only listing 4 songs for each year, or at least I'm supposed to be, and I haven't listed any AT songs thus far, but I promise you that either there or thereabouts just about each every year since they debuted, because I adore so many of their title tracks. But I'd say Deja Vu has become one of my favourites recently, and this year I've been listening to it a lot. I think it's super underrated. NMIXX, Oh. This one might shock some people because I did a video reviewing the debut when it was released, talking about is it as bad as we thought, but I never actually gave my opinion on it because I didn't have one at the time. When I made the video, I listened to the song on repeat to, make a thorough video, and I found myself getting it stuck in my head even afterwards to the point where I was listening to it all the time voluntarily, and now I really love it. I think it's so catchy, and it's really nice to see people warming to it, to be honest, because I remember how much everyone hated it, and some people have changed their minds. A-Pink, Dilemma. Second time they're on this list, which not gonna lie is a shock for me because I don't really stan them. I wasn't really bothered by this song much when it came out either, to be honest, but it has grown on me so much now and I really love it. It's one of many strong releases from them, to be honest. Okay, so before we wrap up today's video, let's go over what we've learned from this, if anything, and if there's been any changes in my music taste that we can spot. I think for me personally, I've noticed in my earlier years, I listened to a lot more either popular groups that were easily accessible and boy groups. And as time has gone on, I've got a little bit more into girl groups and more random groups that I've found from suggestion upon suggestion, going down the rabbit hole. I also find it interesting how my top artists don't necessarily always correlate with my top songs of the year. A lot of the time, top songs can be random song by a random artist that just absolutely has you hooked. Do you guys notice anything interesting from an outside looking in perspective that I might have missed? If so, please let me know because I'd be so curious to hear your thoughts. Okay guys, and that was it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching if you got this far, and I hope you didn't find it too boring hearing me talk about myself. This was really interesting for me to look back on the things I used to love versus what I love now, and I would encourage you to do it because it's so interesting to see. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'd love to hear maybe your favourite songs over the years you've been into K-pop if you can remember, like one from each year maybe. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to be the first to hear whenever I upload. As always, my social medias will be on screen if you'd like to give them a follow. That's my Twitter and my Instagram. I always follow back fellow K-pop stans, and I need to get better at using Instagram, so let's be friends. I will see you next time. Bye guys!